accidents, not the ones that show up and kill them.
I see. Guns on them?
Yeah, they have guns.
Okay. All right, so there's one exit right there, this corner. So that's DCS right there, but it covers most of the building. I think the only other thing that's here is that high school. So the exits to the parking lot are here, here, and then there's two on that side.
I'll go over there.
I'm unsure though, there's an alleyway here, and I'm unsure if on the other corner of the alleyway, if there's an exit. And the only way to get there without going through their property is through the alleyway.
Cool. I'll head over there.
Right. That was all good.
Now, I'm not going on their property at all,
I will.
but I mean, unless you've been told that you can't, you can, but my personal recommendation is if they tell you to leave, just do it. We don't, I mean,
Go to the sidewalk if it's on the leave.
Yeah.
You know,
but that way you could at least cut through to get to where you want to go. And so they'll be getting off work in about 10 minutes here, 15. They're actually leaving right now. We're a little bit late because government employees always leave early. So we've got them leaving right now, but we are gonna try and cover every exit of the property because yesterday when I was here, every one of those DCS kidnappers and child traffickers were trying to hide their faces. They would have the security guard walk them out to their car, and when they saw the camera, they would hide their faces like that Houston police officer who was hiding his face coming out after he got in trouble for murdering the Tuttles. So they were all trying to hide their faces, and they would literally run back into the building. So we've got enough people to cover every exit of the facility. This is where they arrested me yesterday and cited me for disorderly conduct. If you guys aren't friends with me on Facebook, go check out my Facebook page, or well, it's actually on my profile rather than my page. But I came out of here because to ask them some questions. They didn't want me to ask the questions, so I said, okay, I went outside. I continued to ask questions from outside to the security guard that followed me out. One of those questions was, have you ever had sex with children? If you go and look at my Facebook and you look at all the stories about what these people are actually doing with children, the context of the question was 100% legitimate. 80% of sex-trafficked children in the US come from the foster care system. They get to the foster care system after these guys pull them out of sometimes good homes, sometimes not so good homes. But that's how they get there. So I came to ask a few questions. They didn't want to be asked. I said, okay, no big deal. Went outside. The security guard kept telling me, oh, you can't record here. I was recording license plates. They were saying, oh, you can't do that. Police came, men, at least 8 of them, maybe 10. They arrested me and cited me for disorderly conduct for asking the DCS security guard if he has sex with children. They said that that was disorderly conduct to ask the DCS security guard if he has sex with children. Disorderly conduct is a misdemeanor, but it holds up to 6 months in jail, $2,500 fine in Arizona. Disorderly conduct is actually considered a violent crime. It's specified under domestic violence. And in order to actually commit the offense, it has to be something violent done or something violent incited. So they cited me with domestic violence gestures or words, meaning that I said something that was disorderly. Now, in order for it to be disorderly conduct, it has to incite immediate violence. In other words, I would have to say something like, you know, somebody should go and beat up that security guard, or more directly actually saying, hey, Tuck, you should go beat up this security guard. It would have to be a direct inciting of violence. That's what the charge is for. It's not so that you can just charge everyone who damages your sensitive little snowflake feelings, especially asking a legitimate question. Hey, thanks, Dues Owings, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So it's not for. So you got a security guard coming out right here. It's not for just citing people every time that they say something that you don't like. What's up?
How can I help you?
I'm good.
You can't be filming the business.
I can't be filming the business from the public sidewalk? You're telling me I can't film the business from the public sidewalk? I can't hear you. You're gonna have to come out to the public property to talk to me.
You've already been told yesterday that you cannot be filming here.
No, no, no. I was told that I can't come on the property. Am I on the property?
Not yet.
Not yet. So you're preemptive. You're saying that I'm going to go on the property. Is that what you're saying?
I am just being prepared.
You're being. What's your name? Prepared.
I'm not going to give you that information.
You're not going to give it?
Nope.
Yeah. Well, why don't you get your butt back in there then?
Nope.
All right. Do you want to answer some questions then?
Nope.
Do you have sex with children?
Nope.
Okay. Do you know of anybody in here that does?
Nope.
Okay. Do the people in this facility take children out of their homes?
I cannot answer that for you.
Why not?
That is not my authority.
Okay. Do you know if the people in here take children out of their homes?
I cannot answer that.
Okay. Are you aware that 80% of sex trafficked children are taken from their homes by these people and put into foster care?
I am aware of that.
Okay. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not saying anybody does it on purpose. But what you guys did yesterday when I came to ask some questions was out of line.
You had no legal business here. You are not a...
I had all the legal business in the world here. Shut your dumb ass up and get back in there.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to move along.
You can ask me to do whatever you want. I'm going to ask you to move along. So I'm out on the public sidewalk here. This dumbass approached me. I'm out on the public sidewalk. What's your name?
I'm not going to give you that information.
Okay, do you want me to just call you dumbass or do you want to give me a name to call you?
I'm not going to give you my name.
Okay.
Call me whatever you want.
Okay, good. So yesterday they cited me for disorderly conduct for asking the security guard if he has sex with children. So I'm out on the public sidewalk, have never set foot even on the public easement, which goes up a good distance, okay? The public easement goes up a good distance. I have never today, since the police spoke to me yesterday, never even set foot past the sidewalk. So we've got this security guard out here telling me that I can't be out here on the public sidewalk recording. He won't give me his name. He works for Superior Protection Services. You guys can Google them. You can Google Superior Protection Services and complain about this. He won't give his name. No.
I'm not going to give you that.
Okay. So your company is contracted by the state.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so you're paid by taxpayer dollars. I don't know if you realize that or not.
My company is paid by taxpayer dollars. I am paid by my company.
Right. So we've got a handful of individuals out here. Some of them went inside, I believe, to ask questions. This guy is trying to escalate. Are you trying to use violence?
No, sir.
Okay, are you trying to get someone else to use violence against me?
I'm trying to get TPD out here because I know you were already involved here yesterday.
Okay, so you're trying to get TPD out here to do what to me? To tell me to move along?
Yes, sir.
So you're trying to get people to come out here with guns to force me to do what you want.
No, sir.
What are you trying to get them to come out here to do then?
You've already been told not to be.
I don't give a shit what you've told me. I'm not here. Your property's over there. I'm on the public easement. You understand that? Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
So you know I'm on the public easement and you're trying to bully me off of it and you're calling men with guns to try to help you. You shouldn't even have that gun on your hip. You're such a moron. This idiot has a gun on his hip. All right, so I think they've asked everyone to leave the property now. There are other individuals who have not been asked to leave the property that went up there. I think that they've been asked to leave the property now, and they have done so. And now everybody is out on the public easement. Uh-oh, he's asking, now Tuck is asking disorderly conduct questions. He asked this guy if he's ever had sex with a child. Hey, sir, have you ever sold a child to a Tucson police officer? Okay. How's it going, man?
I watch you guys every day, man.
Do ya?
I love you, man. You guys are the best.
Hey, you should pull out your phone and record. Just stay on the sidewalk, though.
Yeah. I watch you guys every day.
All right. Thanks, man. So when I came out yesterday, I mean, believe it or not, I was just totally chill and calm. I went in and I waited until they were ready to talk to me. Asked the questions that I wanted to ask. And then, well, I didn't actually ask the questions that I wanted to ask. This idiot actually came out here and told me that I can't be on the public sidewalk. And I asked him a whole bunch of questions yesterday. About, this is Department of Child Safety, Arizona Department of Child Safety. This is basically like CPS in Arizona. That's basically what this is. Arizona DCS, Department of Child Safety. If you guys aren't, if you guys are on Facebook, go find me on there, James Freeman. And I can't accept friend requests, but you can see all the posts that I've made today and over the last little bit. Oh, I got to adjust my cameras. Hold on. They're not aligning properly, especially when I zoom. So you can see all the posts that I've made today about the story that's going on out here. 80% of sex trafficked children come from the foster care system. These folks put them in the foster care system. If you look at story after story after story, no doubt there are children who are in homes that are not good places. But these folks manage to amplify the dangerous situations or potentially dangerous situations that these kids are in. 80%. Yeah. So there's a good amount of children actually being pimped out, and we're talking about typically females between the age of 12 and 14. That's the typical age of these girls that are being pimped out. Hal Ford says that's a lie. Just go to my Facebook. All of the facts and evidence are there. So any of these people who want to gaslight you in the chat here, all of the facts and evidence are there, okay? They've been doing studies on these, and it does take a long time to do these studies. So some of the latest actual numbers that they've got are as far back as 2013 and 2015, okay? But the people who are gaslighting you in here and saying it's not true, go look. The government itself knows that it's true. Even the government, who lies about everything, no longer denies the fact that this is a breeding ground for child sex trafficking. All right? So we've got all kinds of DCS agents in here saying he's lying, fake news, not true, fake news, he's lying. And these are people whose their paycheck is dependent on this. They put a roof over their head. They eat nice steak and lobster because of this business. That's how they have everything that they want. This is how they support themselves. Of course there's people who are going to sit here and say it's fake news. I'm not saying believe me. I'm saying go look. Go look for yourself. Look at the links that I put up. Go dig up your own links if you want, because there is a lot of information out there, and some of it is a little bit more blurry than others. One of the most difficult things about putting these statistics together is when these organizations, when you do open records requests for, okay, like how many reports have there been in X amount of time of children being sexually abused in foster care. So of course they don't have the percentage, but when you go to do open records requests on the number, so you can just say, okay, well, how many have been reported? A lot of times these kids are reporting this stuff to their caseworkers, and their caseworkers are brushing it under the rug, and they're not investigating it. It doesn't get any more real than this. And with all the posts that I also made today showing all of the police officers that are beneficiaries of child sex trafficking, that are either making pornography and or selling it and or prostituting children out, with all of that stuff that I put up there, it's no coincidence to me that over 10 cops showed up yesterday to cite me for disorderly conduct for coming out here with a camera. So this guy just flipped me off. This guy, Ford Explorer FP1 5025.
You're number one. Freeman, number one.
And you can hate James Freeman, all right? You can hate what I do. You can hate the way I do it. But come on, go and look up the information yourself. If you don't want to take the information that I laid out for you, that's fine. You want to go and find the information on your own from sources that you believe and sources that you trust, go for it. I strongly encourage it. And then come back and tell me that this isn't a child sex trafficking ring. You work here?
Sorry?
You work at DCS here?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
Right to report me.
You're factually incorrect.
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna call the cops. Calling 911 right now.
Why? Do you want them to do something violent to me?
I would like you to be arrested because you're filming me without my permission.
Well,
Is that a felony?
you're trafficking children without their permission.
Don't get in the wreck, baby.
Pay attention to the road. Hey, it's illegal in Tucson to be on your phone while you're driving. You're breaking the law right now. What is your problem with our laws? We're a nation of laws. What is your problem with that?
Kidnapping children also?
She wants me arrested. They're about to, if they want to keep pushing this, it's about to get really bad for them. Do you know how many people around the country, how easy it is to get 20 protesters out here? Yesterday it was 1, today it's 5 or 6.
See that word there?
You want to keep pushing it? You want to keep pushing it? Protect your paycheck. Protect your paycheck. So I've never, ever, ever left the public easement. And by easement, I mean sidewalk. It appears to me that the easement probably goes all the way up to the pole. I have not left the sidewalk. I do need to cross the street though. Hopefully this bitch doesn't run me over.
Videotape him.
Are you going? I'm crossing. Don't run me over. G78. I didn't get it. That's a government vehicle though. So this is how you actually get dead, guys, just so you know. Covering child sex trafficking is how you get dead. But the reality is there are children being stripped from their families every day and sold into sex trafficking, all right? And I've got children myself. It could be mine or it could be yours tomorrow. all right? There is nothing more dangerous. I don't think there's a more dangerous story out there than this one. I really don't. You see how upset these people get. You see how mad they are. I mean, you can film bad cops and they'll get upset, right? But look at these folks. I mean, I strongly believe that if it was legal, if the legislation allowed it, she'd probably put a bullet in my head right now for exposing what she's doing. I'm not saying for sure that she would, but I think she would. I think she would. There is a lot of money in this, guys. A lot of money in this. People who say I do this, what I do on YouTube for money, I mean, for God's sakes, if I wanted to make money, I would just join CPS in the child sex trafficking ring. The amount of money that I can make there, the amount of money I can make on YouTube is dwarfed by the amount of money I could make doing child sex trafficking with Department of Child Safety and CPS and the police and DHS. For those of you who are on Facebook, you can go and check out the stuff that I've posted over the last 24 hours on Facebook about what's actually going on. But also, if you're on Facebook, go check out Kelly Stewart and John Lamb. They do all their stuff on Facebook. I've been trying to get them to do it on YouTube because it's easier to find the videos later. But Kelly Stewart and John Lamb are huge advocates for liberty, and they were up north. I don't remember if it was Oregon or Washington State, fighting that case for Kylie, the teenage girl who was abducted from her mother. Her mother was charged with multiple felonies for child neglect, and she was forced into a surgery so that the doctor could get his $1 million a year salary. Ended up making nationwide news, so you guys may have heard it. But Kelly Stewart, John Lamb, and about 15 or 20 other people went out there and protested for about 2 weeks. And it was completely unheard of what happened. Within 2 weeks, CPS completely dropped the case. Completely dropped the case and said, we don't want anything to do with Kylie and her mother anymore. And there's no, as far as I understand, dropped the felony charges for child neglect on her mother. And Kelly Stewart is a freaking firecracker. If they think that me asking them if they have sex with children is disorderly conduct, go and watch some of Kelly Stewart's live streams about the hard truth bombs that she drops. And she's so sweet and so kind and so gentle that, I mean, she just spits pure truth and there's nothing you can do or say about it. Like, there's no response to it. She's so calm and cool and collected while doing it. And don't get me wrong, she gets passionate too. Because, this is egregious, and she's a good person with a good heart. She gets passionate, but these cops came out when they were protesting one day, and they were actually protesting in front of the CPS caseworker's home. They were at the house of the CPS caseworker, okay? And they had signs saying that the guy that lives here is a child trafficker. And the neighbors were coming by, and the neighbors didn't know that they lived right next to somebody who was working for CPS trafficking children. And they had a lot of good conversations with the neighbors, saying, I had no idea that my neighbor was a criminal. And people like Kelly Stewart went out and exposed it. These people are among us. They're in our neighborhoods, they're in our schools. Our kids are playing soccer with them. Our kids are playing sports with them, with their parents, right? These are real people in our community doing this. And I think that if a lot of people knew that these traffickers were right next door to us, hiding under the mask of child protective services, because you know what, all you got to do is say it and everybody jumps on the bandwagon, right? Because that's what people do with children. It's a sensitive topic, right? You say that children are being hurt and everybody goes, oh my God, I'll do anything to help, and I'll let you do anything to help them. What's up, man? And thank you, Lady Justice, Liberty News. And so it doesn't matter if it's true or not. All you have to do is say, oh, we're helping so many children by stripping them from their homes and selling them into prostitution. Of course, they don't say it quite like that, but that's the reality of what they're doing. But as long as they just say, oh, we're helping these children, and I mean, it's pretty easy to do because, I mean, come on, look at some of the homes that they come from. So Kelly shared a link with me yesterday too that shows that there are children who are in homes where the parents are using drugs, okay? And they'll pull these children out of these homes. And most of us will say, yeah, you know what, that's probably a good thing, you know, to pull them out. I might agree with it too. You know, it depends on a lot of circumstances. But all right, so this is a public road right here. I think they're trying to say that these guys are on the property, but that is a public road right there. This is Windsor and Oracle. So that is a public easement all the way up through there. And I believe the security guards are trying to say that they're on their private property there. So I was just saying, okay, so these kids who are pulled out of homes where the parents are drug addicts. Kelly shared a link with me yesterday that showed a study that kids were 3 times more likely to get addicted to the same drugs that their parents were using if they're pulled out of the home than if they're left in the home. And I mean, whether it makes sense to you or not, whether it makes sense to me or not, I don't know why it is, but the evidence shows that it is. That the family is about the strongest bond that there is, and when you strip people away from their family, especially children, that it screws them up in the head. And apparently, based on the evidence, it screws them up in the head worse than even being in a possibly abusive or situation in a family. Now, I'm not saying, you know, and I don't have all the answers. I'm not trying to say that it's okay, it's good to have kids in abusive situations and blah, blah, blah. All I'm saying is that whatever they're doing is amplifying the situation and making it far worse. And that's what government does in my experience. And you've got gaslighters in here saying, oh, this is fake, this is staged, and you know, that's what government does, you know. They come in and they'll outright gaslight. Like I said, go look at the links on Facebook. CPS is kidnapping children and sex trafficking them. Huh? Department of Child Safety. Really? 80% of sex trafficked children come from the foster care system. They're stripped from homes by these people, sometimes on completely false claims, and sold into sex trafficking. Just Google it and look it up. Don't take my word for it. Yeah. Right now I'm on James Freeman. Yeah, but the detailed information that you'll need to find, you'll probably have to Google for it. Okay. And if you look at James Freeman on Facebook, I put a few links on there. Okay. All right. Have a good one, y'all. So these are the people right here that steal and sell children. So we're just filming them coming out. Yeah. Yeah. And they do it under the guise of, oh, we're helping people. No, selling children into sex slavery isn't help. They are severely embarrassed. These people are trying to hide their faces. 21.7% of statistics are missing. And you know, and I get it, guys. Statistics are fudged. Sometimes people do it intentionally. Sometimes there's just not enough data there. But guys, I really encourage you, just go and dig. You know, there's some sources you may trust. There's some sources you may not trust. I may paste a link to a source and you go, well, James, you know, they're kind of known for exaggerating or for this or that. Okay, I get it. I totally get it. But look at about 10, 20 sources and see if overall the narrative is true or not. That these people are stealing children, and whether they're doing it on purpose or unintentionally or intentionally, you know, I don't know. I don't know all of these individual people. There's a small handful of individual cases that I've seen where CPS or DCS workers were intentionally lying on reports like police do to strip children from homes. That's actually another one that I need to share tonight, that I will go and get looked up and share on my Facebook tonight. I think it may have been Oregon or Washington again. Don't quote me on that, but I'll get it posted. Where these CPS workers got caught completely fabricating and lying. Completely fabricating information and lying, okay? And when they were brought into court and asked about it, they said, we didn't know that lying on these reports was against the law. You can't make this stuff up. We didn't know that lying on the reports to pull children out of their homes was against the law. That's the answer. And guess what? It was considered a legitimate answer. Oh, well, you've done nothing wrong then. Hey, thanks, James McCaleb. I appreciate that. You know, all I came in here for yesterday was a couple of questions. And to be totally honest with you, I would have either gotten those questions answered or not gotten those questions answered, whatever, and I would have been done and moved on to the next case, because this has been covered again and again and again. Some of you may have already seen it, some of you haven't, but this has been being covered for, man, at least half a decade, if not close to a decade. And so, you know, I was just going to reiterate it, you know, just say, hey, these people are still trafficking children, and move on. It was the extreme measures that they went to stop me from being here with a camera that encouraged me to come back. It was the extreme. Go look at the reviews for this particular location. This exact location has review after review of specific caseworkers here at this location doing dirty things. And whether they're true or not, I don't know. That's for, you know, we can all speculate about whether they're true or not. But go look at the reviews. Again, I'll put, so this location is also posted on my Facebook wall. So if you don't want to go look it up yourself, but you're on my Facebook, just run to my Facebook wall, whole bunch of stuff there. One of them is this specific location is posted on there, okay? And so you can click the link and it goes to their Google page and you can see the reviews on there. And it's the same story over and over again. You know, they lied to take children. I'm not saying all of them do it either. I have no idea. Maybe there's some genuinely really good people who work in this facility that want to help children. I have no idea. But I do know for a fact that there are people in here that are lying, cheating, and stealing, and kidnapping humans and trafficking them. So we got a whole crew of people out here. Let me tell you who's out here so you guys can go check them out if they've got some of them have YouTube channels, some of them don't. For one, we've got El Charro Negro Justice. He's out here all the time filming the police in the Tucson area. Doesn't get nearly enough attention for everything that he does out here.
TPD approaching.
Oh, TPD approaching?
Looks like it.
Right on.
They're coming here.
You got Tuck Police Suck right here. So you got Tuck Police Suck, he's out here. You got El Charro Negro Justice, he's out here. Steve and Jenny, thank you. If I missed any super chats, thank you guys, I appreciate it. We got Tucson Police Department rolling up right here. The last time when I was out here yesterday, it took them about an hour, maybe a little bit more to show up. Roughly an hour to show up. To see if any of these guys have YouTube channels to check out. I don't know if they do. You guys got any YouTube channels yet or no?
Pigs under pressure, sir.
Pigs under pressure.
Pigs under pressure.
Okay, I like that, dude. I like that. You have one or no?
I'm with you.
Okay, cool.
We're all together.
Cool.
We're all a team.
All right, right on. So it's the Pigs Under Pressure team. Are you live right now?
We got action, bro.
Are you live or are you recording?
I'm just recording.
Okay.
Glad you got live feed though.
So we've got 1, 2, 3 Tucson police officers showing up here now. Nobody, ever since they've asked people to leave, nobody has left the public easement, by the way. There's the road along there, and there's the sidewalk along here. I don't want to talk. Have I done anything illegal?
I gotta talk to you about what's going on.
Okay, do you have to, or
Yes, I do.
am I detained then?
You were detained.
Oh, geez, here we go.
What's going on?
It's a public easement. I'm filming on a public easement. Can I go now?
No.
It's constitutionally protected.
Okay.
That's all I'm doing. Can I go now?
No, you can't go.
What's your name?
My name is Officer Alexander.
Officer Alexander is detaining me for filming on the public easement. As you guys know,
Give me a second.
I've been live the entire time. Now, am I detained or not? Hey, the lawsuit is being filed as we speak. Am I free to go or detained? I'm going to assume I'm free to go since you're walking away. And I'm going to leave as well. He just detained me for being on the public sidewalk.
Bullshit.
Now, I've been live since the moment I got here. I haven't even stepped up onto the public easement on the rocks. Not once. Stupid mother effers. Tucson police. So that's Tucson police. He actually came and we got people honking and waving. The next time we come out here, it's going to be with signs. Luckily, they invited me back to Tucson in 2 weeks. So I will be back here in 2 weeks. And the next time we're coming with signs. Stop trying to suppress the press. A handful of simple questions. You could have just said we're not answering questions and it could have been over. But you had to violently suppress the press. We're coming back. What an idiot to walk up to me and tell me that I'm detained because he needs to know what's going on. I didn't call you. I didn't call you. And I don't want to have any interaction with you. Because yesterday I had an interaction with Officer Riley, was it? Who pretended to be my friend and then surrounded me with men with guns to force his narrative into my camera. Ramsey, thank you. This is DCS, Department of Child Safety.
Yeah.
So I came here yesterday to ask them some questions. They didn't want to answer them. That's all right. They called the police on me though, saying that they're uncomfortable with the questions I asked. So 80% of sex trafficked children come from foster care.
Yeah.
They get to foster care because these folks write lying reports and strip children out of homes, and they end up prostituted. Okay?
That's true. I can agree with it because that's what they tried to do with me too.
Yeah, have you been in foster care before?
They
I'm live
tried.
right now, so don't.
They tried.
Yeah, any personal information I wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, we hear it again and again and again. There's a guy who's out here with us right now. His brother was put into the foster care system here in Arizona and molested by his foster family. The stories just don't stop. And so I came out to ask questions. They bullied me and they had a bunch of cops surround me and threaten me and say, you're going to tell our narrative or we're going to threaten you with violence, arrest you, and cite you with all kinds of charges.
That's crap, man. That's bullshit.
So we're going to be out here again in about 2 weeks. We're going to bring a bunch of signs. If you want to come out, we'd love to have you meet out here with us.
Yeah, I feel it because a lot of the people that go into those foster homes, they get abused. And I have a friend who was in a foster home who was abused and beat badly.
Yeah.
And they were stripped naked, barely given any food. So it's a horrible situation.
Yeah.
I'm glad what you're doing, man.
Thank you, man. Hey, look me up on Facebook, James Freeman, because we'll set up an event when I come back in a couple of weeks, and so we'd love to have you out here. Just walk on the sidewalk, hold some signs. Even if you want to just show up for 5 minutes and say, hey, you know, we'd love to have you. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming out.
Doing, man.
All right, we'll see you. It's, I mean, the list goes on and on, guys. It's not, I know I do a lot of stuff for fun. I totally do. And those of you who know that I do stuff for fun to get the traffic coming in, so that when there's a story that really needs to be shared, I've got an audience to share it. And for God's sakes, people, I don't think that there's a bigger, more important story to share than this one. So the Tucson police came out yesterday and protected the child sex traffickers. They used threats of violence and force to protect the child sex traffickers from the camera. They're leaving now. There goes Tucson police leaving. And I have shamed the hell out of at least one specific officer that tried to coercively have his story told the way he wanted it told on my camera. Now, get this. This officer detained me with at least five other officers. I was surrounded by men with guns. I was sitting down. I had previously lifted up my shirt because I have a flashlight on my left hip that bulges out of my shirt. And so I had previously lifted up my shirt to show them my waistband to prevent myself from getting shot and killed. I'm surrounded by 5 officers. I had previously been in a consensual contact with one of them. I consented to have a conversation with him. I spoke with him for about 10 or 15 minutes, maybe even longer, I don't know for sure. And then I decided, as more officers showed up, I feel threatened. This is no longer a consensual encounter. Am I detained or free to go? He said, you're free to go. I was right here when that happened. Standing right here, and that officer was leaning up against this cactus right here. Okay. Hey, how's it going? That's a big dog. So I walked up the street. I went up the block. The cops came up there. They surrounded me, told me I was detained, had me sit down, and cited me for disorderly conduct for asking the security guard if he has sex with children. Now, during that time, one of the officers, I'm so terrible at remembering names, Ramsey, spent the entire time saying, I am so sick of media spinning the narrative and not telling the truth. And then he sat there while I am forced to sit down. He forced me to sit down and tell his narrative to my camera. He forced a member of the press to sit down so that he could tell his story to the camera the way he wanted it told.
James Freeman, everybody.
Are you live? Oh, okay. And this entire time he's telling me, you better do a favorable piece on me. You better not twist the narrative, because he's basically trying to say I'm the good guy and you better tell it that way. And the entire time I'm being threatened that maybe if I don't agree with this officer, I might be going to jail right now. Maybe if I do agree with him and I try to tell my viewers, look, Ramsey is a good guy, maybe he won't take me to prison. Maybe he won't take me to jail. This is some third world country kind of stuff, all right? In a free country, the government doesn't do that to the press. They don't sit you down, surround you with men with guns, and say, God damn it, you're gonna tell the story we tell you to tell, or else.
Whenever that cop beat my ass the other day,
Yeah.
this fucking cop showed up about 10 minutes later, and they said, oh, we arrested you because you were fucking interfering with the DUI. That dude's a cop. I don't even know if he's a DUI man. But this fucking guy right here, he's the one that said, okay, because he's a rookie. Like, between all those dudes, it's probably about 5-6 months between all those motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna go back down there because they're leaving now.
Yeah, they're
They're all
leaving.
leaving. They was already leaving.
Hey, he detained me for about 5 or 10 seconds. How much do you think that's worth?
That's what all Westcroft does.
What a dumbass! Yes, you are detained because I need to know what's going on. Yes, you are detained because I need to know what's going on.
Disorderly conduct
Hey, we
fighting.
need you.
Do you have sex with children? That's disorderly conduct to ask that, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you have sex with children? Are you a beneficiary of their child sex trafficking ring?
He's still detained?
Are you protecting it because you're a beneficiary? He's never told me that I'm not detained. He told me I was detained, then he walked away, and they've never told me that I'm not detained. So I am, to this moment, still under detention.
You're undetained, dude.
They never told me. He told me I'm detained, and I'm still detained because he never told me otherwise.
You can't leave the site.
Yeah, that means I can you grab me a few more battery packs? I'm gonna have to be here for a couple of weeks.
The sandwich.
I'm detained.
A couple battery packs in the sandwich.
Oh, I already know cops want revenge.
That sergeant is a fucking
Good, we got. I love it when, yeah.
This dude got smart with me one time.
What was the name of the channel again?
Pigs under pressure.
Pigs Under Pressure. Pigs Under Pressure. Go sub them, guys. Go sub Pigs Under Pressure.
Yeah. The sub to pigs under pressure.
Man, so the harder they crush these activists out here in Tucson, the more pop up. And it's the same thing, you know, I actually started doing this after Gavin Syme was bullied out of the country. I mean, I watched him for a long time and I did a little bit of stuff here and there. After they bullied him out of the country, I said, no, they're not going to get away with this and say, good, he's gone. James Freeman is going to be the next one. And you know what? You know why I'm here? Because you bullied Gavin Syme out. What now?
Yeah.
But when they detained you, you was all by yourself. You didn't even really
How were
see
you by
us.
yourself?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
When?
You was by yourself. when
Yesterday?
they detained you.
Yeah.
Today.
Anytime.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah,
was
well, yeah,
standing
you
by
guys were a
yourself.
little ways away, yeah.
Yeah. When we walked up, you left.
Yep.
Right across the street. Pulled down. I got him on video out the window bitching about you.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What was he saying?
There, he's back again. He's back. He's out on the sidewalk. He's back.
Oh, the security guard?
Yeah, they said, I said, you arrested someone yesterday. He said, yeah, the guy on the sidewalk, I'm going to arrest you too.
Oh, how'd that work out for him? They didn't want 5 more lawsuits today?
Guess not.
Did you ask him if he has sex with children?
Yeah.
That is disorderly conduct.
He answered me though.
Yeah, he answered me today too. That's there's only one guy who hasn't answered. There's only one security guard that hasn't answered. So all I can assume is, why would you not answer a question like that? I mean, anybody here, if you were asked, I mean, it's boom, you don't even have to think about it.
His mom-
If you do have to think about it, there might be a
His
problem.
mom told him not to lie.
Oh, that's what it is.
No.
Beck Ishmael, thank you. Beck Ishmael says, thank all of you guys for what you,
Anytime, man. It's all
thank
fun.
you for all you guys do for decent Americans. We appreciate you. Unfortunately, America has many scum bootlickers.
Thanks for inviting us.
The numbers get bigger.
Just
They shit on Tuck Suck. El Charo shows up. They shit on El Charo. 3 more show up.
yeah.
I
That's
mean-
what I told him, we're like gremlins. Add a little bit of tyranny and fucking 5 of us pop up.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Go get their ass.
And they're continuing to get worse. We were talking about it earlier, right? I mean, it was getting to a point where they're
They're not
starting
getting
to
better. They're
right.
getting fucking hella worse.
Right.
Bad.
So for a little bit, they were realizing, oh, we're on camera. This is going to be embarrassing. We should not embarrass ourselves. Then they started realizing, 1, we're not going to use violence against them. And 2, they've got full immunity for just about anything that they do. And so they'll put hands on us and arrest us. And it doesn't matter how many people see it. Most people will support them no matter what. And once they put hands on you, what are you going to do about it? They already know we're not going to do anything.
Try a lawsuit, but it'll never fly.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt them. The lawsuit comes out of the taxpayers. And I used to be against filing a lawsuit too, because I'm like, oh, it's going to come from the taxpayers. And then I see how much the taxpayers support them. And I say, sue it up, baby.
Absolutely.
Sue it up. I would take so much pleasure, and I don't even want the money. I just want to take it from them.
Principle, just the principle.
Yeah.
Principle of it. You know, right now.
But the cops don't pay for it. They are in no way held accountable for it.
Insurance policy.
And that's why they're continuing to get worse now, I think. They're really realizing there's no accountability. What are you going to do? But then they wonder why things like in, I think it was Fayetteville, Arkansas, where the cop gets shot in the back of the police parking lot in the middle of nowhere for no reason. Or was it for no reason? Once you're the law enforcer and you create a society where there is no law and order because of your actions, you are going to reap what you sow, and you are going to live in that society with no law and order. You will live in the chaos that you create.
True statement, man. Absolutely. You can walk inside, buy soda.
All right, guys. Well, we're done here for today. We will be back. We will be back with more people, more signs. We'd love to have you guys out here with us. They've invited me back 2 weeks from now to come back and have a meeting with them about whether or not asking a child sex trafficker if they have sex with children is illegal or not. So when we come back out here, signs, let's bring signs out here. Child sex trafficking ring here. Child sex trafficking ring here. We're going to do open records requests for the names of all of the employees that work in these facilities. I don't know if they're going to fulfill the request, but hopefully we'll be able to get names of the individuals who work in this particular facility so we can have actual signs that say like, Jane Doe, child sex trafficker working here at 3550. You've got to put it's not government that's doing this. It's real people that are doing this. Government isn't real. The individual people who are in here are the ones doing it. It's real people doing real bad things to other real people. And as far as I'm concerned, the only right way to go about it is to say, this is who it is. It's not DCS, it's Jane Doe. That's who's doing it. We'll get back to you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I rarely do live streams on here, but I felt this one was pretty important. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Yeah, we're getting out of here. We'll see you guys next time.